Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to continue to have a look at the latest on the cold spell that we do have that is dominating at the moment, which is likely to now bring some disruptive and heavy snow somewhere through Saturday night into Sunday, and again perhaps Sunday into Monday as well. Now I do say somewhere because it is looking pretty likely that we do see snow in those periods. We do perhaps see heavy snow in those periods. Just exactly where that snow falls, the exact typing with it, are we seeing a bit of sleet, maybe rain mixing in, and of course the intensity is still yet to be exactly pinpointed. But in today's video we'll run through what the latest computer models are showing. But if you are in parts of the Midlands, Northern England, Wales, definitely looks like there's a real possibility through the weekend into the start of next week that you really see quite a bit of falling snow, maybe even some significant accumulating snow as well. So as I said, we'll run through the models and then we'll have a look at the longer term prospects as well, because even though, yes, as we head into next week is looking likely to turn westerly and at least mild for many southern areas, the models are still already toying with the idea of bringing back the cold air for around the middle of the month once again. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now if you start on the live radar, you can see we've got a big array of showers at the moment. Showers are not too heavy and as widespread further eastwards as they have been over the last couple of days, and that's because the wind direction is starting to shift, but further southwards and eastwards there are still some showers coming inland. For East Anglia, maybe Lincolnshire, into far southeast across Kent, there could be a light covering as we head into the morning. Remember, the ground temperatures are well below freezing now. The air temperatures are widely well below freezing. All precipitation falling over land is falling as snow now, and it will be readily sticking, especially these overnight hours where the ground, as I said, is frozen solid. But you see the wind direction is changing because showers are now forming in the Irish Sea and out towards the Atlantic. And you see there's an area of snow here moving in for parts of southern and western Scotland. And again, we have actually got an individual weather warning issued for this that we'll have a look at in a minute. Now, if you see the big blob of blue further southwards and eastwards across much of Central Europe, now this is the weather front that we see just about skirt southern England yesterday, that some of the models had dominating through yesterday into today, and you can see what it did produce across Europe. This could have been on another day across parts of England and Wales, but of course the models did shift it much further southward. So I know there will be people wondering where that snow went that we thought was going to happen potentially Thursday into Friday around Sunday, Monday time. A lot of the models were definitely having a good strong suggestion for this, but you can see where it is. It's a few hundred miles further southwards, and then now about 1,000 miles further eastwards, dumping a lot of snow elsewhere. So it did just disappear. It did move its position, and unfortunately, if you are looking for snow, it is much further southwards than we initially anticipated. If you look at the temperatures, as around 9:30, it is bitterly cold tonight. A bit of trap cloud further eastwards, a bit of fog. It's not going to allow the temperatures to drop as low elsewhere, but it will allow them to not rise high at all tomorrow. Tomorrow could be an ice day for many areas, as we'll see on the UKV in a minute. But you see, with these lighter blues, it is bitterly cold, and that is going to continue for at least the next couple of nights before things turn a little bit milder next week. You can even see some of these pinks appearing across much of the Highlands of Scotland, indicating temperatures down to as low as -10 or lower than that. Now, if you look at the weather warnings, you can see we've got 3 warnings issued at the moment. If we start across this snow and ice warning, that does expire at 11 AM tomorrow, and that's for those showers that we saw on the live radar. Again, the possibility of seeing 1 to 3 centimetres of snow here, above 200 metres, and again, could be more considering what we're seeing on the live radar. Definitely could be some quite significant accumulations over higher ground where it does settle readily. Snow showers warning issued for parts of northern Scotland. Again, could see a few centimetres of snow, 1 to 2 centimetres, and then a widespread warning along the east coast. Again, pretty much the same warning here, 1 to 2 centimetres in places. Again, these warnings have been very generic because they are for showers. So can't go into too much specifics because simply the Met Office don't 100% know, because it is convection based, and some models are showing something, some models aren't. So it is very difficult forecasting these sort of shower events where 10 miles away could see a dusting of snow, where you are could see absolutely nothing. So it is very difficult. But anywhere in these regions has a possibility of waking up to a couple of centimetres of snow by the morning. No warnings issued for Sunday, Monday yet, or even Saturday night yet, and I suspect that is what's coming tomorrow. Again, the Met Office holding off because of the huge uncertainty. Now, if you do have a look at the latest UKV and see what that is showing over the next couple of days, again, you can see showers around through this evening, but nowhere near as widespread as they have been, apart from that southwestern Scotland portion, where they will be fairly significant through the evening into tomorrow morning. As we progress through tomorrow afternoon, shower activity definitely does increase quite substantially further westwards, and again could be some snow across northern England, parts of Wales, and you can see the precipitation does become more organised through the evening. This is the snow we're looking at potentially through Saturday night into Sunday, giving significant accumulations in places. Now this is further northwards than we saw yesterday, but it does give quite a lot of snow for parts of the Midlands into northern England as it progresses northwards and eastwards. Again, it doesn't look like an amazingly significant band in terms of size, but it is pretty intense, and it looks very similar to what we saw last December in the far southeast, where we did see significant accumulations, but in a relatively small area. So that's why I said possibility of disruptive snow, but really depends on where exactly this band does end up. You can see it extends further southwards, even into the London area, but unfortunately, quite a few of the runs have a bit of milder air nudging in with this, and it does turn those dew points slightly above freezing, the temperatures to around 1 or 2 degrees, and instead mixing in rain. But it's one of those where it could go either way. So even if you are in areas that are showing rain here, there is still the real possibility that it does fall as snow. Again, we'll be able to firm that up probably tomorrow afternoon in our video, as we'll be able to have a little better look at it, as the models will have another sort of 12 to 24 hours to have a run. So you can see as we progress into Sunday morning, that snow continues to progress northwards and eastwards, and then we see more precipitation heading in for Sunday into Monday. More of this falling as rain, though. As I said, that those dew points nudge up, the upper air temperatures nudge up, and it just means that it's falling as cold rain, maybe even a bit of freezing rain, falling onto frozen ground. But through the afternoon and evening, we see more intense rainfall move in, and it could turn to heavy snow in its northern and eastern edge. Northern and western edge. Now, the UKV is not particularly bullish at this at all, but we'll see in a few runs in a minute have much more snow mixing in. So yeah, UKV showing mainly a rain event here, but other runs are definitely suggesting some more snow. And as it pulls away, we see wintry showers come back in off the North Sea. It turns very cold for another couple of nights, before eventually the westerly winds start to properly win out. And again, there could be a bit of a transient snow event there Wednesday into Thursday, as real proper mild air moves back in. You can see this from the upper air temperatures. Proper mild air moves back in. Mild air that the cold air will not be able to stop. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see through this evening widely below freezing, maybe as low as -10 across Scotland, and even to low-lying areas further westwards across England and Wales, -5 or -6. Into tomorrow afternoon, many areas not actually getting much above freezing, lots of zeros, ones, or even -1s there, even across parts of England and Wales, so freezing cold as we head into tomorrow. And again, it's going to be any of that snow that falls Saturday night. If it falls as snow, will probably readily settle on this frozen ground. As we progress through Saturday afternoon into the evening, you can see temperatures fall away very quickly. But as we progress through the night, temperatures actually rise in the far south to just above freezing, maybe 3 or 4 degrees. And this is where we got issues with milder air pushing in. By 5 a.m. on Sunday, this is where the snowfall or precipitation really is at its peak. And you see across parts of the Midlands, Northern England, freezing. Slightly further southwards, 2, 3, 4 degrees. It's very marginal. And again, it could go either way. We could see more of a milder wedge, or we could see more of a colder wedge. Sort of statistically, normally with these sort of systems, they do trend slightly further southwards when they do arrive. So there is a possibility that actually this colder air is 50 miles further southwards. So again, we'll have to keep a very close eye on it and see exactly what the models show tomorrow. But into Sunday afternoon, temperatures will be higher. Further southwards, maybe 7 or 8 degrees in the milder air, sort of transitioning down towards freezing across northern England. So somewhere on that sort of gradient. And again, that will all depend on how that disturbance moves through on Sunday. And then into Monday, again, a big contrast, freezing for northern and western areas overnight and even into the day, much milder further southwards and eastwards, but eventually the cold air does win out and most go cold once again into Tuesday, only 3 to 5 degrees, and then freezing cold Tuesday night again, for eventually all are going to be turning milder as we progress through Wednesday into Thursday. Now, if you compare to the R pairs charts, see that is showing for snowfall over the next few days. Again, you can see through this evening snow in those northern and western areas or across southwestern Scotland, and then eventually we see that in more enhanced snowfall through tomorrow, again giving a covering across much of the Midlands, northern England. And again, you can see the rain snow line is somewhere across sort of the South Midlands, maybe towards the M4 line, depending exactly on its timings. So again, we'll have to keep a close eye on that, but very similar track to the UKV, and again showing pretty high intensity with that. And then we see more precipitation moving for Sunday afternoon into the evening, and again turning to heavy snow in its northern and western edge. Again, uncertain exactly how much that moves in, for eventually pulling away out into the Atlantic. Again, could give some pulling out to the North Sea, probably giving a bit of back edge snow before eventually turning colder once again as easterly winds do return. If compared to the Icon run, again, if we run through the coming hours, again, snow showers in places over this course this evening, and then as we head into tomorrow, that system moves in, more of a widespread snow system. Very interesting seeing that even snow down towards the southeast corner. So this is why I said you can't discount snow further south as the Icon here, showing most of this disturbance as falling as snow, again developing maybe 5 to 10 centimetres of snow in this sort of scenario before eventually moving away. And then we see the next system move in. It is further northwards, but that still doesn't stop there being a bit of snow on its northern edge, but most areas across England or Wales here developing rain, as that low is about 100, 200 miles further northwards than other runs have been showing, for eventually pulling away, and then eventually proper milder air starts to arrive by Wednesday into Thursday. And then finally, if we have a look at the ECMWF, again, as we progress through Saturday night, that snow moves in again pretty heavy further northwards. The heaviest stuff actually towards sort of proper northern England, up towards southern Scotland there. Still precipitation further southwards, but more of a mix there with a bit of pink, purples, but a bit of blues as well. Beyond that, we see the next weather front move in, mostly rain there through Sunday afternoon. As it bumps into the cold air, could actually see a period of heavy snow across parts of the Midlands and even further southwards and eastwards as it pulls away. So again, big uncertainty. As I said, some runs showing more extensive snow than other runs are showing. I do definitely think sort of Saturday to Sunday event does have much more or much higher chance of actually giving accumulating snow down than sort of Sunday into Monday. But again, can't rule out either. We've known but from history that things can throw big surprises. So we will just have to see. But you can see all pretty much through Saturday night all the way through to Monday, there is the risk of heavy snow across much of England and Wales. Again, the exact setup, exact timings and intensities are going to make all the difference. And of course, we'll have another update tomorrow looking at this and hoping the models do agree a little bit more. Finally, if we just whiz through the longer range, you can see the easterly winds at the moment. It looks like a fairly locked-in cold pattern, but it is breaking down as we see low pressure coming off the Atlantic over the coming days. It has trended much further southwards, and that's why it's brought the possibility of snow in, but Atlantic air will be breaking through in the longer term, and you can see it actually goes pretty stormy there for a time later next week. But look out to our northeast. High pressure returns by day 10, eventually trying to bring cold air in, and it does bring an easterly wind in by the end of this run, and actually returns bitterly cold air for northern areas and brings the real risk of some heavy snow. If we actually put in the United Kingdom view here, you can see there is a big band of heavy snowfall here, and you can see we're not seeing major accumulations yet, but if we probably ran that another 12 hours, we'd be seeing some quite big accumulations along that bitterly cold boundary between the very cold air coming out of Scandinavia and the milder Atlantic air. So GFS bringing back the very cold and potentially snowy conditions as we progress towards the Christmas period. If compared to the GM, again cold at the moment, but Atlantic opening up over the coming days, going more westerly, and as we progress towards day 10, no major sign of anything amazingly cold, definitely still more of a westerly trend, but to our north and our east, the higher pressure is starting to build back. So yes, although the GM doesn't go cold, doesn't bring actually any cold air in by the end of its run, it is definitely suggesting that high pressure is going to try and build back to our north and our east. And finally, if we compare to the ECMWF, again, easterly winds continue, but low pressure coming off the Atlantic over the coming days. The high pressure to our north temporarily disappears, but look toward day 10, the high pressure does return. And yes, it's not in a prime position to give us bitterly cold conditions, but similar to the GFS, it is starting to draw that air in back for the north. and you can't rule out it getting more widespread cold in the following days as that high pressure re-establishes itself. So yes, definitely turning milder for at least a few days, maybe as much as a week, but quite a few of the runs are now suggesting high pressure is going to return to the northern east. We're not saying anything too bitterly cold yet, but definitely showing the recipe from around maybe the 15th to the 20th of December onwards, things could turn bitterly cold once again. And if we finish by looking at the latest ensembles, you can see cold over the next couple of days, London being slightly milder, being close to that mild air to the south. And you can see still some cold runs in the longer term, but the majority are going a bit milder. But as we saw from the operational runs, even if they are showing milder air, doesn't mean they're not setting up cold as we progress into the middle of December, and that's what we're most likely seeing. But you can still see it, some runs do go very cold towards the middle of December, and we'll have to keep a very close eye on how those develop, as they haven't really disappeared over the past few days, but they haven't really increased either, and that's the same on the ECMWF. Still a minority of maybe 5 to 10 runs going bitterly cold, not disappearing, not really building, but just kind of there. Need to keep a very close eye on that, as that again could bring us a return to properly cold conditions, even colder than we are now, potentially even snowier than we are now, simply because we're later in the season. The air is colder, the ground is even colder, and it will essentially mean marginal events become slightly less marginal than they are right now, meaning a higher possibility of more snow in places. So we'll just have to see exactly what happens over the next few weeks, but the next few days could be disruptive snow around at times. Even the Met Office aren't 100% sure what is going to be happening because it is so marginal and it depends on so many different small factors. So make sure you stay up to date with the weather warnings. Do stay up to date with the videos, of course, and I'll have another update out tomorrow afternoon, hopefully looking at what the Met Office warnings have been updated to, and of course what the latest models are showing. So as I said, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.